Taking the first big steps to reset the entire trajectory of bilateral relations, India and China have decided to work on a settlement of the boundary question, and an expert group will be set up to explore an early solution to boundary delimitation. After Prime Minister Modi, External Affairs Minister and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in New Delhi, the Ministry of External Affairs issued a statement and said the two sides have also decided to resume direct flights at the earliest and increase the scale of Indian pilgrimage to Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar. Prime Minister Modi will attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in China, and the two sides also agreed to the reopening of border trade through the three designated trading points, which are Lipu Lake Pass, Shipkila and Nathula. Vishnu Som, who's been tracking all the finer developments, breaks all the details down for us. But first, listen in to what the Chinese Foreign Minister had to say.
Mr. Doval, I'm very pleased to meet you again in New Delhi for this round of talks between the special representatives of China and India on the boundary question. The setbacks we experienced in the past few years were not in the interests of the people of our two countries. And then in October last year, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi had an important meeting in Kazan. That meeting pointed the direction for the development of our bilateral relations and provided impetus for the proper settlement of the boundary question.
Special representatives Wang Yi of China and Ajit Doval of India. Wang Yi has been over here in India, in New Delhi. He met the Prime Minister, as you can see. But late this evening, there's been this very detailed list of what both sides plan to do. And quite besides resuming trade and resuming direct flights and opening up more pilgrimage sites and giving visas to tourists and to businesswomen and businessmen, I think it is addressing the core issue between the two countries, which is the boundary dispute itself, on which there has been repeated mention, which is absolutely critical. There are multiple mechanisms which have been set up with repeated mention of how the primary concern between the two nations, which is the boundary dispute, the boundary issue, that needs to be sorted out. There needs to be a delimitation of the boundary. Some of the working groups which have been set up are looking to find low-hanging fruit which can perhaps be addressed really soon. This is obviously huge and comes at a time when the international order is in a state of incredible churn. Remember, India faces 50% sanctions, including 25% for the continued import of Russian oil from the United States. There were signs that China might be willing to actually provide us with minerals, rare earths, which is critical for our economic development. That was a key sign, and this evening we find this as well. So India and the US have been very close for the last several years, but with this 50% sanctions, the state of the relationship between America and Washington perhaps not what it was some time back, at least not for the moment. China appears to have come in, they filled a void, and I think there's a realization at the level of Delhi and Beijing that both sides, huge countries, need to work together. Clearly there is a political direction and a will and a sense of pragmatism which both countries have embarked on. Let's see where this goes.